Welcome back, everybody. We're here with one of our regular, I think, usually person that appear on the show the most now.
Serious?
From since Afro View
But remember, I hear from
to Afro Trini View. You never come on us by who you are.
Yes.
You come by.
Yeah.
I know you're good now, but then here for sure.
I come everywhere. When you first started the day, I was here. When you was in Gael, I come.
Yeah,
I
was saying.
When you was by the radio station by
Yeah, by who you are.
Yeah. Correct. I was there. Yeah.
So then you is the most returned guest then, because I was telling Karen before you come in just now, people. One of the ideas is to make a black table. And the black table in physical, literal. With some of the guests that we had on the show.
Right.
Now is to put them together. We ain't necessarily doing no work or nothing like, you come in and I tell people like fed up and they see the set of meetings and all that kind of thing. Yeah, but it will have something that when it happens, we could engage the black table for that. Our example is when the youth man had getting trouble for his hairstyle on work. You call the fire thing, the insurance agency.
Oh, right. But he said we're supposed to know that. Black people hairstyle is not good hairstyle.
Right. So when that happened, it's somebody's supposed to contact the black table one time.
One of the things I find that we lack, boy, right? Is this idea of commitment to each other and fighting for our cause. And actually, I feel as if it was bred out of us, out of slavery, and it was bred and broken out of us. So, for example, if I see you struggling with that issue, here what I will say, that is not my problem. Because that's an issue, that's your issue today. So you have a problem with your hair, that's your business, right? That is not my, I don't want to come out and march and protest for that. I don't have to boycott Call Fire because they're giving me good rates and things good with me. So your house on fire, that's your business.
I've had that issue, not to cut you, but I've had that issue with a lot of we people. Starting home in a conversation I was having with my brothers and my father. And I remember saying that we had just lost our nephew. Negligence in the hospital. And I remember saying, I just see these news reports and I feel it that kind of way now. You know, my father saying he never feel it until it happened to him because he lost a grandchild. And then my brothers and them are agreeing with him now. And saying to them, there's a big problem in the community. We're not feeling. But it starts from the top, you know. When the leader of your country come in and talk to you a certain kind of way. Not overstanding or not even showing any lighter man. Lighter man is the nature of the game them playing that is called politics. Lighter man. But he's not even trying to lie to you that he care or that he overstand and utter certain things. Right? Well, how we will expect everybody else. It is trickle now. Because you know there's everybody don't like to apply to the politicians.
Well, I don't know.
It is rough.
It's from the head.
The fish don't run from the tail.
Yeah, it's from the head.
But as it comes to we politicians, the people that we, and not just politicians, but the people we revere, some of the other like them exempt from that.
But there are some things though in relation to that. Just what you spoke about that I see it a bit different, right? And I'm not saying that they don't necessarily treat us as well and so on, but and I'm not specifically speaking to any one person. But yeah, again, to me, our functioning is heavily driven by what was engineered into us, bred into us from slavery, right? And so there is this need for us, one, somehow to seek approval from people of lighter hue.
Yes.
So right, I don't know what that is. Like we
the tighter way I said before.
It bred
into us.
So we now have this desire, this great desire. You could, no matter how successful you get, You could be more successful than them, but you still look to them for some approval to say, "Look, I make it."
Yeah.
You know, Massa, I could sit at the
Yeah.
table. You know what I mean? we still have that, and so you're afraid to be your authentic black self, because when you make it a certain status, there are certain things that you have to kind of get rid of because.
Yeah, if you want to sit down by that table, you better have to get rid of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
You kind of have to get rid of certain things. And what happens is that they often cultivate themselves into such a persona and personality that they now almost removed from the rest of. They become the house Negro. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So that mentality, the Uncle Ruckus. The Uncle Ruckus mentality. You develop the Uncle Ruckus mentality, no, right?
I feel you use that. Yeah. No, I want to add to that Uncle Ruckus now, because for the people who know where Uncle Ruckus, the reference come from, they might have it in their head as just that ignorant, uneducated, rowdy kind of personality. But for me, I rather deal with that Uncle Ruckus as opposed to the ones of them who educated by the system, come wealthy because of the system, speaks proper English, and talks to you in a kind of way, but promoting the exact same thing that Uncle Ruckus promoted. And that's the world that we live in today. The world that we live in today is do this. That post you put, I see somebody come and watch me now. I was coming in. And I'd be like, yo, I ain't selling no jerseys, you know.
Which one? Which post?
With how the Gen Z and the millennials and them don't want to work. I tell people, I keep saying it.
No, but he ingrained as an employee, so he will see it from that perspective. But entrepreneurialism is the answer to we problems. To deal with that.
You say, people keep saying, we lazy. I remember seeing a one-line answer to that years ago that I love to repeat. The first time they call black people lazy is when we stop working for free. Yeah. What? That's not it. You're coming in today's world. You're telling these, first things first, you get them access to this. This is better than any encyclopedia set. Right? They could see the history of their parents, their grandparents, and their great-grandparents. Right? Daddy was well educated. Oh, grandpa was well educated. He works so. And he could have barely even get a piece of land. Daddy come and follow in the same educational path. Fight, and build up a little caboose on the land. Now what you coming to tell me to do? 60 years later. 60 years to do the same thing? So probably other. No, when they're finding other ways, like I was telling him yesterday, be like, yo, my brother, I'm proud of you, you know. You understand? Because let me tell you why now. I remember being told personally that barbering is not that. What kind of feature is that? I wanted to go and learn that, and I didn't have it as a career at the time, you know. I was still going to school. I just wanted to go and learn it. My idea was to trim like on a weekend because I was already working on the weekends. Right? Flash forward, nearly 30 years later, my partner, who I went to school with, take barbering and showing the world that this is not a hustle. That we problem too. Some of the things we look at as a hustle is a business. How much are we just tell one another? We proud of one another.
So real things you see, I want to deconstruct some of it, right? Go ahead. Psychologically. So let me
things are key, no?
Yeah.
Miguel, Delison, mommy, blessings.
Forget my manners.
All right. Well, you need to just introduce me properly. We don't
remember.
So, folks, welcome to Black to Black.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Black to Black.
Right. Today we're dealing with men's mental health. Right.
In the month. Actually, that's all. Today is the 25th, so the last couple of days.
Men's mental health month. Right.
Featuring our brother, Sule Joseph.
The resident.
The most capped
Yes.
Guest on Black to Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Sule, you go forward.
Right. Council inside colleges, so you vote that man. Right.
You go ahead and tell them. Yeah.
All right. So people, for those who haven't seen me before on this program, I don't know how because I'll be here. They might have a third seat for me. But my name is Sule A. Joseph. I'm a counseling psychologist. I've been doing it for a number of years, over about 15 years now, right? I specialize in child and family therapy, particularly children with behavioral problems. And of course, the way the society is structured in Caribbean, when we talk about children with behavioral problems, they're primarily talking about
black people.
right, but so that's the communities that I work with primarily, heavily.
Yeah.
Now, before we jump in, which I'm really excited about the topic, I kind of want to deconstruct some of the things Andrew said before, right? So, this misnomer that black people lazy is a real vexing about.
Yeah,
of course.
It is annoying. You know why? Because the black man who jump your fence and pick your foot and thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He pick your foot to do what it is.
Sell it.
He going and hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be lazy to hustle. Now, there are some issues with how we choose to exercise our entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
But I can tell you, from inception, from intrinsically, we seem to have an entrepreneurial spirit.
That's right.
We find ways to make it. We are survivors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can't be lazy. And if it was lazy, you'd be dead. As an ethnic group, we'd have die out.
Long time. Right? That's why they can't take it.
We'd have die out as an ethnic group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can't be that we are lazy. It's not that we're lazy. I do think, though, that we are disenchanted with the system and the structure and the societal, you know. I think that is unfair and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we go about trying to utilize some of the skills we have is problematic.
Yes.
And the education system and structures that we have in place don't teach us how to utilize the skills that we already have here. Correct?
And make money from them. Yeah.
So when somebody tells you some garbage about Baba, hey, why you don't go be an accountant or you go and work for the Ministry of Finance or Education?
That's why you have the mental capacity to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And then tell you, well, you're done because you can't get maths and you can't go and work for Ministry of Finance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who in Ministry of Finance going and empty, come and pick up your garbage outside? You know what I mean? Oh. Who in Ministry of Finance this morning? I was to go to the gym and a pipe burst outside my house. Water falling out like rain. I can't get to switch off. It's one of the blue lines. What's that like? So yeah, there is water like rain. I can't get to switch off. Yeah. No water in the house. I have to call up a plumber. Emergency, bro, emergency, please. I need to get it. So all the education, all the school I went to school, all the how much years? I mean, you understand? I mean? So let us this cultural practice of kind of downplaying skills, especially because we are people who are very skilled in terms of our hands and so on and whatever. Correct. We are naturally gifted people. This nonsense that they like to talk about us being lazy is garbage and it's really fret me. I hate to hear. Black people are not lazy. Walking off a plantation don't make you lazy. Right? Deciding that you don't want to participate in master system don't make you lazy. Right? It's an unfair system, and for a lot of people who wake up to the fact that it's an unfair system and so on, and decide they don't want to do it their own way, that don't make you lazy. No. It just means you don't want to participate in the system the way it's structured correctly. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Yes. Now, the East Indian community, right, and I must say, oftentimes there are things about it that I really think needs work, but there are things about it that we could model. Like for example, how closely knit their family structures and things. I think black people need more of that, definitely, right? How they band together business-wise, black people need that badly. So a Indian person go open a shop, next to a black man shop, and black people go and buy from the Indian man, and close the black man business is closed down, right? Because $2 more. That's the kind of thing we will do. Whereas East Indian people will continue to support the East Indian man because they figure this our brother is supported, right? Those are things I feel that we can learn from. There's also support for within the East Indian community for skills-based entrepreneurship. When they say, well, yeah, boy, I'm trying to brighten my and the school thing is now invest, yeah. We will let him go through until Form 5, and I'm going to send him to work with my brother Sadio. Yeah. Right? You have a guy business. But and you laugh at him, right? You go on university and thing, and you catching your backside to get work with your degree now. He now, 5 or 6 years or 10 years later, he's working in the garage. He either take over the garage or open his own garage.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that happens.
Yeah.
They are driven to own their own things, which we are not. We seem to be satisfied with working for others, which again I feel is psychologically trained into us, right? Yeah. Coming out of that whole plantation thinking and system. Yeah. And so you're talking about us now. You get a whole degree, went and work, and Andre who drop out and or Sally or whoever who open up the garage, you with your degree now coming and do the accounting for him.
Yeah.
He ain't have no degree, man.
No.
He pay you salary.
I don't get to study.
As we sit down here with the psychologist, I always remember something and the man he tell me. He say, at that time I could carry child in tongue and show them businesses with people like them own it. Say, but now there is no psychology of going in Port of Spain and seeing Heinemann and Sons.
Yeah, to have that.
Joseph and Sons.
You really that beating me right now, and I think about changing my business, you know.
Right?
Someone name,
yeah, because watch me now.
Because that just be singing in my head.
We don't have that where we can.
But we can say. People is not my fault. But that's so arrogant.
Yes.
So arrogant.
So they're going to why the Middle Eastern people and them they are tell them that.
When you going for gyro, you're going by yourself as why you name and Hassan. You name business Peter or Frank or something around it.
No, he's in the gyro land.
So why is always
the issue? That is a great psychology for us now because none of you imagine that. We just say you're going to school in Port of Spain as a secondary school student. You catch your length in terms of you're starting to register till you say ending a form 3 coming into form 4. So for 2 years you're walking through town as a young black boy, a young African child, and you ain't seeing you never see your last name in tongue and Sons. All the other last names very distinct. All. Because if somebody looking like Sule coming here and tell me that the last name. That's why so Friday I mean people are the thing and saying they try to pronounce Mauritia name nothing. So I can't call it no. I have to say the whole thing. I just said my mother. I pimp name sick back. It's like a child called quest. You have to say the whole thing, right? Because that's part of it too now. Because you can't tell me we talking all this talk here. Like I always say that no community of people live a certain way that African people are the model everything after them. But there are certain things we have to do. You can't tell me. I tell them and say, they find out too Afrocentric, right? And they want more unity, right? Okay. Carry a delegation of black people to whoever does run the Nagar and tell them 2 things. I want
10 boots.
No, we don't want no boots.
Okay.
No. This is our delegation here, 10 people. We want them, we would like you to take in them for the duration of this year's Nagar and show them the runnings so that we can come and do the same thing in the African community. Well, let's talk unity. Only they say I too African and I racism and all kind of thing. Right, but that's what I'm saying to you. Saying it has certain things for all of them who can't take black to black and Afro view because it's sung a kind of way. There's certain things they can't do. I always use the example. When last year's in the grocery and it had Syrian shop on it.
Not even in price, man, bro.
That's not saying it here.
Not even in price, man, bro.
The geography of the country and all have let me do it. If they don't want to use the word racism or prejudice something in it.
Well, ethnic divide. There's
exactly.
There's ethnic divide.
And I don't necessarily see nothing wrong with it. I just saying as you say it. That's something we can learn from them, boy. That the way that it is operated family. Don't come and tell me, no, you know that's what, man. We, how them they drink Amazon and chop up one another. I said that you see. I said that the same thing Or does they see of us?
We shoot them, kill each other.
Exactly. You can't tell me you don't see.
Yeah.
Like,
the language. Oh my! You see, that is the next thing that is boggled my mind, and is admirable to me. That part of what they do, part of their schooling, is that they ensure that they hold on to Hindi and teach that.
And I see that for myself.
And teach that to the children. So they teach them the culture.
And I see it.
I met a delegation of some senior persons recently from India, right? Some senior people who come in the country from India and thing or whatever. And they were saying that our Diwali is closest thing to traditional Diwali. It looks so foreign to them because Diwali in India has become more commercialized and then grow and become more, And here they say they've held on to a lot of the traditional things that their grandparents talk about. That we've held on to the culture more traditionally here than in actual India.
Greetings, Melanie Francis.
Yeah, could you believe that for generations they've ensured that they've held on to their culture, and I'm not vexed with them for that,
Of course.
But that's a great thing that you've continued to hold on to it. You've ensured they passed on the traditions and so on. We don't have that.
No, this is the problem. So I like how you start off by saying the licks and the beat up that we get from slavery, then into the right after slavery, into pre-independence, to now. Most of us as African people in Trinidad and Tobago are Christians. As you start to talk this conversation, we have a part of this conversation that we cannot leave out. Because if you want to talk about how the East Indians who held on to their tradition and their religion, they did not hold on to Christianity because it is not native to India. Just like I tell people, no matter how they want to dress it up and all the fancy words and terminologies that they want to use, Christianity is not native to Africa.
No, correct.
It was brought to Africa. Most people were forced into it via violence. Some people chose it. None of the people that chose Christianity chose it off watching. Right?
They watch it and they say, hey, them killing niggas over there.
Exactly.
That. So when them come here, yeah.
And this is what I tell them. I say to you. So if we want to say we looking at certain things and we want to emulate it. In Trinidad, just as I say, in Trinidad, there are people that came from Nigeria, the home place of Orisha worship, Orisha tradition, and say that there are some things that we have here that they surprised that it still exists in this side of the world. Held on to it right here. But the difference with that is it's not open. I mean, imagine we still legally trying to get an authentic African holiday. We still trying to get that where Chief Masatunji and them was trying to get Shango Day, and they reached to the party, they this and how we still fighting that in an independent republic. That's why I tell them every day we just force children to lie when they sing the national anthem.
But I feel like we'll never get any topic because you keep hitting some hard heavy. Because for example, the argument I get into
I can't tie in all of that. Go ahead.
The argument I get with people all the time is emancipation is not an African holiday, right? Emancipation.
It's not a religious holiday. But that's the argument. They just use that when we come with how come all they don't wear African clothes in emancipation, and they say when you go to the schools with it, they say it's not a traditional religious holiday. You understand? So Diwali we just see everybody jumping up.
But they're right.
See the same thing.
But that's it. But they're right because that's my point. My point is emancipation is not a African holiday. Emancipation, just by in terminology, is supposed to be when slaves were released. Now it just so happened that the majority of the slaves were of African descent. But you also had they tried their hand early with using white slaves by bringing in prisoners and so on. That didn't work very well. You had the native people who they tried to enslave and work, and that didn't work very well, right? You have indentured laborers, the Chinese who they brought, well, they pay them next to nothing, but and East Indians, indentured laborers who they brought, you gotta encompass all of that. So when you're talking about it, to me, it's more, yes, the African person is the persons who are generally accepted and comes to the forefront, but it is not a specific designated African religious holiday. It's not. And people push it as though it is, but it isn't.
And that's what
so there's no specific
pushing for
there's
like
no
Shango Day,
specific,
because some of the people, the elders, will tell you that the reason why Shango Baptist was so popular in Trinidad is that a lot of our African families that were brought here came from places that venerated Shango.
Right.
Because in certain places in Nigeria, certain Orisha is venerated in that area. So like Batara might be a place big for Obatala, and you go Sawa, and Sawa is Shango, right? They respect and worship all Orisha, but you have just like
specific,
right? But plenty of them come here, so that's why certain things, and then that is why when we ancestors was incorporating the Orisha practice into Christianity, that is why Shango stayed so high. So they were pushing for that kind of Shango, because it's something that, I mean, from the time Shango, Shango Baptist, really and truly that can't exist. That really can't exist, because Shango is our Orisha. He had nothing to do with Christian Baptist thing now. But it's what we ancestors and them had to do to hide certain things.
To bring it forward.
Now, the reason why I say I could tie that into men's mental health is because I have a few friends battling with coming out openly that they interested in or participating in Orisha spirituality. And is a real battle for some of them, because they come from ultra Christian homes, and they know the family wouldn't accept it. So,
but let's be real. Anything outside of Christianity is devil, right? So it's either Christian or devil. Like that's what you're taught. So either you pray to this blue eye, blonde hair, right? Yeah, they pray to the
devil as Malcolm X and them.
They pray to the blue eye, blonde hair God, right? Or you forever your soul. Remember your it's a package that was sold to us psychologically. Essentially, what Christianity did for us is give us a concept that to understand the suffering that we experience here, because the hardship here on earth will be followed by a kingdom in heaven. So hush your mouth and be a slave here, right? And be subservient to the white man here. But don't worry, when you reach up there, we all on the same level, and you'll have a palace. You will have a kingdom.
I love for that somebody post on me and say, birds, who racism is, if heaven did exist the way them say it was, then would I never give you something that could have reach today? Think about it. Think about it. If racist white people that push that agenda, they believe in that heaven, and that heaven was real to them. Them wasn't giving we the tools, the keys to come in there. They ain't like we here. What make us feel like we there, man?
No, but when you reach up there, you'll shed all of this blackness. All of this dirt that's around. I mean, this evil wickedness, this wicked shell that you're in here, this sinful dirt covering here. You know what I mean?
People say the spirit have no color, and I starting to tell them that ain't making no sense to me. First things first, I said they're playing. I afraid people who say they don't see color. I am absolutely terrified of you, because you is the person who will open the door for the army to come in and slaughter all of we. Because you don't see color. All of them is not the same. You want to be the person to find out. Usually if you go down into that town there and you're black, they just kill you or they just beat you and everything. Nah, I don't see that. All of them is not the same. Well, all right, don't go down in there. That's what I say. I really, really don't trust people who the starting and the entrance statement is, I don't see color. Because we have a whole lot of history that they're fighting not to teach in America. And I know we just follow everything. Right? They're fighting not to teach in America. We have a whole lot of history of our involvement with people violently simply because of our color. Bread, I tell them, I say, earlier, people was in a church, having a church meeting, a Friday night prayer meeting, Charleston, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And the youth man walk in the church and spray down the church.
That my mom church, you know.
Serious.
And these people and them so well versed in the thing that was used to make us docile psychologically and mentally. Them forgive him. We forgive them.
Well, I don't know if I have to hold on to it, but all right. So I want to use that as a springboard to jump into the men's mental health, right?
Yes.
And I'll say this: does men's mental health really exist in Caribbean, or is it bullshit? Like, is that a real
thing?
Because I'm gonna tell you this: I tried, and I've been trying to get corporate Trinidad to come on board to fund something related to men's mental health. You have Women's First, you have a certain bank funding Women's First, you have this one sponsoring work for breast cancer, this one for violence against women, you have all these corporate entities coming in because it sounds sexy, the idea of sponsoring something with women and women's mental health, women's physical health is a sexy thing. Who the hell give a shit about men and any mental health? Like is that a thing? Do we actually care? So much so that this month is supposed to be Men's Mental Health Month. There have been no major programs across Trinidad. And what they've done is they've also made this Gay Pride Month.
Yeah. Tighty.
You know, it's only last year you showed me that I didn't notice it.
So, you can have month for yourself,
man? Nine. For what?
That month, man?
For what?
Why?
Father's Day is just, it's a...
Socks and drawers.
Yeah, and tie. And toys. Oh God.
I must say though, in terms of Men's Mental Health Month, I was enjoying, not in a negative way, but I was enjoying seeing so much of posts on social media telling all them one of them, yo, take your time.
Take your time, yeah. You can't be no father.
Yeah, take your time. Let the men and them enjoy the shine.
Yeah.
Because the woman, for Father's Day, the woman and just jump out. And we ain't saying it's in a woman having to play or try to play dual roles, because I don't feel they could play it. You understand? This week, from weekend going to up to yesterday, is a stark reminder for me that even as a single parent, there are certain things I can't be for my daughter.
You can't be a mother.
You understand?
You cannot. You cannot be a mother.
So I was just glad to see, and plenty women was posting it and actually elaborating on it too now.
As a matter of fact, I want to go as far as to say, according to this term on this program, that is transparented.
See, man. Black coin in that face.
Yeah, you trademark that, boy. Transparent.
Yeah.
You can't be a mother.
Yeah.
And a mother can't be a father. Don't talk about you, mother and father. Can't be a father.
Went to tongue the other day on WhatsApp for that. Because I post a picture saying a father's love is just as important now.
Yeah.
And she was like, what is it? So why a mother can't love the same as a father? I said, whoa.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
And then she was like, but this is then what it became the conversation was about quantity now. And I said, but a mother's love does not where a father's love. I said the difference is where a mother's love is concerned. You are the nurturers, you are the,
feely
touchy, feely, emotion, hug up thing. A father now have his role, right? And they see that term tough love. That term tough love is serious, because I just watch it with my children. They know who to go around, who with, what with. They will go by their mother with certain things, but they know they can't come by me with that, right? Because look, my little son, he and fall along in the back day, come crying, thing. I say, all right, thing, go run when you're going over there for the ball, take your time and walk, because it's kind of hilly and thing, right? Sunday day, you go and do the same thing, brother, you fall along again, you come crying. I say, no, my brother. I say, go and play. Because I tell you last week, don't run there, you go fall down, and you're going back running and fall down, so don't cry by me, go and play. He's all the tears dry up and he went back and play. So that kind of love I'm talking about is necessary now, because our mother now would have continued that cycle. He would have keep coming and crying every time he follow him coming and cry. But brother, I'm not trying to tell you don't cry, don't get me wrong. I'm saying learn from the situation. You went through a situation, you learn from it, You develop something from that now where you say, well, boy, father already tell me to run over there. So if I run over there now, you have to start to take some responsibility for that.
No, you mentioned something there,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big part of what drives the psyche of the male in the Caribbean. And I say in Caribbean, not just Trinidad, I say in Caribbean because I know all them touching people outside of Trinidad too. Right? Correct.
Yeah.
The diaspora, right? So they're talking to the male of the diaspora, particularly the black male. Nobody ever asked me if I feared cockroach, if I feared rat, if I feared spider, if I feared lizard.
Nothing.
My work as a child is to kill it and take it outside. Right? Nobody never asked me if I feared it. So mommy could fear it, sister could fear it, them could fear it.
You're not allowed to fear.
But you don't have no choice, man.
Yeah.
So what that means, what that tells me from early is I have to learn how to stuff my feelings. Forget how I feel about something. I am action oriented. So as a man, your job is to be action oriented. You gotta go and do action. Because whether you're afraid, not scared, whatever, nobody gives a crap about your feelings. You gotta stuff it.
You trigger me there, boy.
Stuff your feelings. Stuff your feelings and go and get it done. And that's how we end up growing up. So we grow up either so you gotta mask your feelings. You gotta mask it.
You want to tell you one thing I couldn't mask my feeling for, boy?
Go ahead.
I fear cockroach, boy.
Cockroach?
Even up to today, I ain't have no choice because it's me and a child in the room, in the house. I can't tell she. Right? I would still kill a cockroach and my body movements. I have no confidence if you watching me. It's not no confidence in my body movement. So I don't know. You might want to that? Yeah, once for now. Yeah, a cockroach. No boy, I don't know what it is about that. And as I say, I am the oldest of 5 children.
And the oldest boy.
And the oldest boy. Like,
so after that, easy.
You have to go and look at that running the eye.
Since I small, I picking up hungry and think I'm bringing it for sheep.
But you see, that's your personal disposition. But for somebody who doesn't have the disposition, he's not allowed to be himself. You gotta stuff that. You know what I mean? And what I says to him is, my feelings invalid. How I feel, no matter what people value me for, is the action. So as I get older now, even your feelings, like you want to say something, well, let me not stress because they go say I mean, I'm a common man for saying something about it, so I don't like how, I mean, I sent, you know what I mean? I said, but men should be allowed to have feelings, and be something beyond the 2.5 feelings that the society allows us. I did an interview yesterday where I said the same thing. Society allows men to have 2.5 feelings.
Anger?
One is, anger is an appropriate male feeling. You feel as angry as you want, because men is be angry, right? You can walk around angry. That's fine. That's a male thing.
That's cool.
You can be happy. A man can be happy about something. That's the second feeling.
Right.
And the half a feeling is it can be normal. It can be numb. Right? Yeah. I normal. Right. That's not good. You can allow men to express that.
Let's see.
To add to that,
allow men to have that.
Friday night, coming through Sawa and showing my friend showing, she's saying, have you noticed the amount of young black men since the pandemic
that's outside
on the road that what we just call mad? We know it's much more than that now. We used to just classify all that as that, right? But have you noticed the significant increase? Or while we stand up where we was getting something to eat, she's like, hey, you know what I mean, see? Person mad, youth man, I sure he's we age. I don't know where it is. Some of them, madness just keep them fresh, man. Like,
it's a cocktail.
I don't know what it is.
Coke and water and
telling you about that.
Yeah. Right? You get that 10-pack of abs. And it freezing in that.
While we watching, our next one crossing the road. And I tell him, I say, you notice that, boy? Like, I watch
it. Even more glaring on the promenade. From the time you break, what's the name of the square? behind Columbus. Huh?
Yeah.
Yoruba Square.
Yeah.
From the time you break Yoruba Square and you pass the Planets by Old St. Joseph Road, it's only men on both sides of the road who sleeping on the drain, who sleeping on, well, that thing where they build up there, what they're using for people, man on that mattress, even by, as you come down of the bypass and that piece of land there, under the bypass, men sleeping under there.
So let me tie in something with that to the men's mental health. So they have plans to build a hostel on the piece of land on the main road right before the bridge to go into. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. The swamp right
the
now.
water retention, the water retention ponds.
Right? I'm saying
I know.
when we looking at outside of Trinidad, one of the things I started to do was this is something I did a few years ago. Google countries that had serious flooding problem. The biggest one that come up was Holland. Holland is basically a swamp.
Well, underwater basically.
Holland is basically a swamp. And they had us to condemn whole city, whole towns. So them is one of the leading people in the world on how to combat flooding and redirect water.
Yeah, they redirect water, they pump it out, they have these special dams. They
have them build a big gate to try and block all these certain time when it's like real rain and hurricane and things. So the water, how come we don't deal with them? But apart from that is, the next thing is when you look at the way they treat mentally ill people in certain parts of the world, a big part of the treatment is location. So it's always some nice looking place now. Plenty trees and thing around. And I like, why would you want to put these men and them access to the drugs, place that will cause more traffic in the middle of everything? But for me, it had enough land in country space areas right outside of even our cities that you build the same thing there.
But who moving then?
Right?
That's what they go on at. So that pick them up to move them.
That is the thing about it now. So it's always a
hey, look the
ball. Hey, look the ball. Hey.
What? But you already found the question in. Like, why it makes sense? Who does it profit to take? Because it will take money to go and pick up these men on the road and put them somewhere. Why should you care? Like, why does it matter? It's some old regadang nigga man stand up, you know what I mean? I do you drug and thing. Who cares? Like, why should we invest money? There's no fiscal return on investing in fixing, resolving the situation.
Well, by that logic, it have a certain man who just laugh at me for not rioting. If it's up to him, that would never happen. The cleaning up of people and putting them in places that could probably bring them back to a place where they can come and contribute to society, that ain't gonna never happen because none of them don't look like he in the first place. None of them don't look like he.
And you keep making assumptions. The next assumption you're making. What are these people who homeless are out there? Do people see value in them as persons, as people?
No.
And if it does, so then why the hell I go and take
that's what I'm saying.
Why the
man who is laugh at me for not rioting?
I didn't say value in you as a person.
I just say no returns in that. And on top of that, some people will make a whole program just because one person is the friend of the family that will benefit. None of them is the friend of your family on the streets there. So
they had a man who literally called children cockroach. Literally called children cockroach. I mean, just them city just out there breeding as cockroaches, right? Why would they have literally called us cockroaches? Why would you spend money to assist cockroach to go and build a fancy cockroach facility and bring to the country?
Here's the sad thing.
Why would you do that?
First, we in dire need of a savior. Real black people, real African people will bypass that statement or have a logical sounding explanation to not take on that, to back that one who make that statement. I tell them, I say, there are certain things I just see from the time you either see the action or I hear you say certain things I don't know already. Because why does one is some of we elders. That's why some of them just take a backseat and like, yeah, shit, I do that for 50 years. Let me go on. With them grandchildren and them day. Because I can imagine if I hear it with my 2002 to now is how long?
14.
2, not 12. So 24 years?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, not 20, 22.
Yeah.
In my 22 years I've been around Afro-conscious thing. I hear in certain things when people talk. Like when the leader of the country stand up in the parliament and say, go and see how much car, go and try and get a park in the savannah. I know is what he talking about.
Yeah.
Like if a concert could offset throw up the fact that your rent is ridiculous and something. But I hear certain things when they're talking. I can imagine somebody who in this 40-something years, 50 years, 60 years, and keeping abreast of current events, like them movies get sick reading the papers and listening news and things, but because it are real subtle shots against you, that went over real people's head. That statement went over real people's head. And we want it back, bring him back. And you're like, yo. That's what I tell them.
Cockroach, I mean. I was going to say cockroaches do kill it. You kill cockroach, that's what they do. It's not trying to, nobody will try to rehabilitate cockroach. So you talking about
capture it and
right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about taking cockroach off the street up nice and thing and resting it somewhere. If you're talking about persons who will be responsible for doing that, if they view the certain catchment as cockroaches, there's only one thing that a cockroach are pests.
Yeah.
And what you do to pests are exterminate them. You don't care and cultivate a pest. No. Right? Yeah. So that is the mentality. Something that's simple and straightforward. Why Mover Lavantil does not have a Mover Lavantil business? Because Sawa have a business
chamber.
Yeah. Sawa have a business chamber. Where's Lavantil Mover?
Or Sawa?
Well, Sawa, not bad. Sawa have a business chamber, right? Where's Lavantil and Mover business chamber? Where's Lavantil and Mover market?
Now, my mom's talking to one of the elders from Move and she was talking about that, eh?
Where's them?
Market you said when you come down,
market school, the past school there, and you say market school there, correct? Where is Mover's market? Where is Mover's cultural center? Right? All these people who have all these different skills and things and whatever. Where on a Friday or Saturday or whatever, where's a safe space, right? Where everybody could come and commune and thing. If it have no safe spaces,
greetings, Michelle Sandy.
Everybody just had a lock in their area. And it's just, and if you lock in your area, the man responsible for protecting your area, you had to kind of idolize him and worship him because you can't leave your spot. That's the boss. The boss making sure you're safe. Right? And so we keep perpetuating this cycle.
So Sule, in keeping with the men's mental health, something is silly because most of the crime is committed by men. Most of the crime is committed by young black men.
But what kind of crime are you talking about?
That's not. Well, the crime that affecting we in we daily lives, like, and I mean affecting we like, nah, I ain't going down there. Oh, that shouldn't drive through here, even though it's short and thing. But what I wanted to touch on was something, you talk about cultural center. Me and Karen talk this on this program more than once, all inside and here with other people and things. A great way to combat the wastage of time, the amount of time these children have and things, is why we community centers not as active as they used to be. Because asking that where these things and them, the community center at that time used to be like blood in this,
Yeah, correct.
The courts, I pass in court and court empty. 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. So used to be sweating. You're playing small goal on court, basketball going on.
I'm going to tell you how bad it was, right? I remember I got to walk with my brother, in the airport. We live in Sawa, we live in Bataria, and to go in the airport, and then work finish in 5. The court where we sweating had no lights. So it's not nothing like you come down the road and get a night sweat, right? I went about 2 months without a sweat. I make up a lie on the walk till the walk 2 o'clock. Catch me and then take a transport region. You can't come back, I have to change, right? Because if I come back, I have to change. I wasted more time. I went straight up the hill and sweating a steel tip. A steel tip and a long jeans. That's how thirsty. So while watching is like, but because part of it was the camaraderie amongst our young black men. Plenty. We come outside, we line and talk. Hey, boy, don't love me, see we all waiting. Right? where the court vibes, where the football field vibes. So while I pass in certain place, there was even sweating the road, and you're vexed when the car passing. You understand? A man mission is most of the traffic coming around, so a man mission is stuff here, so until your car boy.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not going to
them kind of thing now.
Or if you too soon and come in the road, shoes normally, shoes or slippers you put in the road. Yeah, slippers you put in the road.
But when the crime in we communities get so bad that we're not even going outside. I do a video about that yesterday. We like the walls getting taller, more burglar proofing, people burglar proofing, more places in the house now, more cameras selling, more pit bulls selling, but we still ain't feeling safer. So what next? And tell them what, for me, one of the things that is next is to go back Sankofa. We had to make a trek back.
No, or kill out all the cockroach.
Well, again, do we know that is the
if that's it
mental of
so here me make a full circle now, right? If you have a pest problem, you have a house, and in your house, down to the back in the corner, right, there are some garbage pile up there, and in the garbage, cockroach living in the garbage. Now, every time you try to go and nick in the area, cockroach come in and bite you and things and whatever, right, you feel it's problematic. Now, when cockroach start killing each other, you feel as though that gonna solve your problem. What impetus you have once you view them as cockroaches? What impetus you have to want to step in and stop cockroach from killing cockroach? What impetus you have of coming and putting in infrastructure, right, to domesticate the cockroach or teach cockroaches different? Is that cockroach? Yeah. Cockroach don't deserve infrastructure. Yeah.
No.
Cockroach don't deserve things, the nice things. They live in rubbish.
Sule.
Cockroaches live in rubbish. So the cockroach don't deserve nothing nice.
Brother, any problem with what he's saying there? When you move the words that we're using for obvious reasons, and you apply it to we communities, then not just see it, you know. It's supposed to have 5,000 people in front of the MP so right now.
But exactly,
why you want
to
still attach with the market? You still attach with our market as something that each community is supposed to have. Now I tell them when we want to talk money and how money don't circulate in the community at all.
It does not.
It just use Mova and Lavanton.
It does not.
For 3.5 years. You can't make no grocery in Mova.
Correct.
You have to leave Mova Friday when you get paid. All them people have to leave and go in town where none of the supermarkets is owned by us.
Correct.
And spend the money. Right? And then come back to Mova.
But I bet you, if you open a grocery in Mova, they go rob you all day, every day.
Tax.
Yeah, correct.
Tax.
Yeah. So now even
stay open or no, but you have to tax.
Even the boss in your community, instead of protecting your business and saying, hey, this is where all of we at the shop. Laura man. Them coming on.
I remember that a man telling me I was working with a youth man telling me he got a call. Bring gas. What do you mean bring gas? Just going nah. They robbed the gas truck so much. The gas truck do come up there with gas, by which part his wife was living at the time. That was the girl at the time they married him. So he had to leave work, go home, take a tank of gas, buy a new one, carried by she. Because the gas truck don't come. So the shop, which is 2 houses away from us, so she could have go for herself. The gas truck don't come that place again. Because they get robbed too much.
KFC don't deliver. You love KFC so much, right? We like it. We love the KFC. Nice, no problem. Why it's called Kifik. We love Kifik. Right?
You love what?
Kifik. So we love the Kifik so much, right? Yeah. Love it. We call it 10 fingers and toes. Right, nice. Right? Whoever responsible and all the names I want to get demonetized. Could say whatever racist statements and saying we love it. We say we buy and buy them no matter what. But why you go if you love it so much? Why you go rob them every time they come in the community, boy? Why you and a big part of that says to me that we lack foresight.
That's what thinking.
We lack foresight. So we lack the ability, well not lack it, but we seem to, that skill, that ability to be able to see down the road and say, how will this action impact me and my community later? You know what? So it's now, we want this now and we want it for free now. Yeah. It's a big joke. Are you a big KFC man? Me pay enough? No. You know what I mean? So now, but then when you work KFC, nobody in your community now could call KFC because KFC not delivering to your community. Yeah. So who suffers for that? Yeah. You.
Same thing with the bread van, same thing
correct.
with the cigarette van.
So all of these things now stop coming into your community.
Yeah. Now it's pressure.
No, correct. And things hard in my community and thing and this and that. Now, this is not me saying that they could make persons on the outside could make more of an effort. But I know of a certain road in Mova that was supposed to be paved. The truck bring the materials. Take a better happen.
Yeah, pave. Or they come and pave here.
But they block the people from paving the road by and send them away. By the time they send them and they say, police come with the people now, they thief the material. So now the road still in pave. The road still in pave.
So that again ties into we mental because when we say we still suffering plenty effects from slavery and all the systems that was in place to keep us where we are after slavery, because it wasn't just slavery and then everything honky dory. It was slavery and then systems of governance. You know, you had places like South Africa, I tell them, I don't know that I would have died young or would I be a revolutionary leader, because mathematics for me, even though I have a 10 in maths, mathematics for me is one of you, even if you have a nuclear bomb, so long as you don't have a switch in your hand, one of you can frighten 10 of me. You have to have a switch in your hand and press it. Because look, Shabby, at this switch in your hand, I might try to reach it before you can press it. That's just how it does operate. You're not going to tell me I will go and get. Nah. I'm not getting that opportunity.
But you see, that's a psychological state of mind again. Because the many don't understand the power that they have. So the many the many have given up their power over to the one. Right? Yes. So you have given up. And so what we lack, and I come back to men's mental health here, because what we lack are these leaders, these male leaders are to the forefront of our community. What we have is a bunch of people who talk about blackness and black support group and thing.
Talk.
Talk. Right? And there's no support. The action is really, let me see if I could also manipulate these people into my selfish needs. Let me see if I could use these people to push myself forward. Because the rallying cry is nobody looking out for us. But you genuinely don't want to look out for us either. No. You just looking at, you want to,
from looking out for us.
And so the issue, I think one of the issues we have is that we don't have these genuine leaders stepping forward to rally the community, who genuinely have the best interest. But we were supposed to have a visionary price mark, the Black Caucus. Yeah. What mother? The land there, I see the building, I see they take forever, then I see the land clear, I see our building eventually start to go up. What happened to that?
But I don't think that they want to do.
Them sell that.
Yeah. I have a question here from Michelle Sandy, right? First, she says, same as when we was talking with us now, she says, same as what we get outraged for in our communities also, we have short-term memory. Yeah, so some of the nonsense leaders we protesting in the communities and
well, let me deal with that first. I'll deal with this question first. So, Michelle is in it?
No, but the question. She didn't answer the question.
No, I want to talk. No, but she make a statement about short-term memory.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, when you talk about short-term memory, ingrained in us psychologically, is this concept of forgiveness, what you were talking about at the angle, right? Forgiving and forgetting. Now, I agree with the concept of forgiving, because I feel as though forgiving, if you don't forgive, it takes it's somebody holding power over you. But you see, forgetting, never forget, Trent. And that's the problem, we just forget. Forgiving is given, not forgiving gives the person power over you, because you can't sleep. You're eating up yourself every day, you're angry and thing, you're losing weight and whatever, you're gaining weight. Forget that. You could forgive, but never forget. Yeah. Forgiveness does not mean that you're not going to take action. Yes. Forgiveness means, listen, I'm not going to hold this person against me, but this is an action I don't want to see happen again. So I'm going to take.
It also don't mean reconciliation.
Correct. Yeah.
We don't want to be yeah, you could stay where you is, I could stay where I is. We could.
I could understand. I say, this how you know, that's how your boy is, that's how you dysfunction, thing. I forgive him for how he does thing, but I realize it's not like I can't cross that line. That's how he dysfunction and thing, and you stay over there, I stay over here.
Yeah.
That don't mean reconciliation. And those are things that we have to understand. So you could forgive, but never forget.
Never.
Because what it's trained us to do is just forgive and forget dotishness. And we just keep getting head bust, and keep getting chopped, and keep getting undermined regularly. Correct. So you slap you on one cheek and you turn the next cheek, you slap you in the next cheek.
I had dual jersey. I feel I need to bring it back. Dual jersey really years ago, Mark, we are out of cheeks to turn.
Yes. But no, but here's the thing. It's 4 cheeks you have, so when you get slapped here, you get slapped here. The next thing is to turn around and get jammed because after you get slapped in the face, it's about around and get jammed because how much slap you get.
Yeah, the question.
Let me ask a question.
Can you ask him to talk about trauma that is partial or DNA if he is able to?
Ooh. Alright, so there was a psychologist called Carl Jung. Right? And Carl Jung believed in genetic memory. That there are memories and so on ingrained within your DNA. Right? So you're saying, listen, genetically as a people, if something happens to you that is so traumatic or so significant and so on, that can be passed on. You can breed traits.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? And if you think about it, like dogs or horses or whatever, you could breed traits.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So what makes humans so different? What makes humans so different? Now, what you would recognize is Jamaicans have a different disposition than Trinidadians.
Oh, by far.
And so, so part of it is cultural, yes, but a big part is the Igbo and Yoruba thing, however, that is warrior tribes. Them white people couldn't handle them at all.
They still can't handle them.
You can't handle, yeah. Them people,
come from the
you rather bite off your tongue and jump off a ship then, but you can't saddle them then. Right? You cannot saddle them. And so, you know, even if you ever meet a Jamaican woman and all this talk, them and plain talk, then you cannot saddle it. It's a culturally bred into them. Right? Now, what happened when they realized that is for the lower parts of the Caribbean, inclusive of Trinidad and Guyana and things. They say, what? You see them too difficult? Forget it. You have to start to look for people more inland and things, who more docile. And so what you're talking about is a more docile people who've been brought to places like Trinidad and so on. And yes, the traumas that we've experienced has genetically impacted us. And that has been taught, handed down from generation to generation to generation. And we have not been taught to empower and relinquish traumatic incidences. Instead, we have been told, listen, you know, you are your own power. You can go out and do it and take. And while yes, to some degree, your own power, that's not how trauma operates. No. You can't wash away trauma.
You can't.
You can't.
No. And you can't watch a YouTube video to
make it like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So by telling you, now it sounds good, the information that we have been given by our miseducation system is that, you know, you are powerful beyond measure and you can do it yourself and so on. But there are some things that you can't do for yourself. And those people who are in power, who own the factors of production, they are aware of that. If they cannot do everything for themselves, they will not employ you.
That's right.
It's not, they're not hiring you because they like you.
Nope.
They're not because they like you. Yeah. They can't do everything for themselves and they recognize that. But they convince us we could do anything that we want for ourselves. And so when trauma and thing that you have, you could fix it. Watch a little video, thing, talk to somebody, thing, you know what I mean? And so now we feel as though I'm a man, I can handle it. And so we haven't dealt with all of these traumas that have come down and impacted us over the years. We haven't. We really haven't. And so correct. And we continue not to, and we pass that down to the children.
You know, you would have blessed day Crystal see there, no. My mother said I used to believe in forgive and forget, but now I will forgive you, but forgetting can cause one to repeat.
Correct. She's absolutely correct.
This is where you would have heard about or learned about or read about genetic memory from a psychological standpoint, right? My first introduction to genetic memory was from a black lecturer, a black conscious lecturer. And I remember people talk all kind of shit about the man when the man talk that way. When the man started break down.
Amos?
Huh? Amos was one of them, but he was in the later half.
Chick.
No, oh gosh. who's do the tours who they try to
Ashwakwesi, yeah.
right? And explaining certain things we just do, right? How it is from a memory standpoint. We can't explain why or how now are seen as a big thing.
Let me give a good example. How come in poor communities, black people formulate themselves into groups and cliques, and the cliques center around one boss man, with a structure. We automatically kind of structure the community. You also have the elders, and well, now with some of the groups like these people who don't care about nobody, resistance.
Yeah.
That is, you two just don't care about the order, right? Them doing everything opposite of what is the traditional order. But traditionally, teachers and elders in your community generally respect it. People generally just respect the elders and thing in the community, right? So how come even in the gang activities and these gang communities and thing, there's still a structure. There's still this structure that where the elders are respected and so on. There's still a one whoever's the boss and thing whatever, with some structures that come down and they tend to respect children and elders, right? How come we find a lot of single female-headed households where the men are just studs? They come and they just make a child here, ting, and then press. How come they keep seeing that repeatedly? It can't be coincidental that this is occurring in every community in every black community that requires what I call more love communities. So these more love communities, how come we keep seeing it repeated? That can't be coincidental. For all of these agencies and the governmental systems, I can't understand why people not seeing the pattern. There clearly is something as occurring that is causing this to continuously occur. Let us get to the meat of that matter. Address that. It means there are structures already that exist within these communities that we could utilize, respect hierarchies and so on and that kind of thing. We could utilize that. But what is happening is we want to come and mash it up and instill westernized structures. You have structures. People can police themselves and all kind of thing. There are structures that exist in the community. There are structures where I remember a time where there was a certain person in town when if you get a rub in town and you go and you look for your boss, you go and look for your boss and say, boss, I know walking through town, thing, thing that's not you tell you, give me 2 hours there, just now. Make some call, ting, boom, you get back here to and this man gets some licks, and if it worse, it is an old lady or something, whoever it is, do it to some licks. And we tell it, and so that structure has reinforced the values, thing, you know what I mean? It check it, but now we've it is quickly eroding. It shows us it hasn't gone away, because I believe part of that is genetically coded in us. So it's not that it's impossible for us to find structure and respect for elders and so on. But it is that we are adopting a lot of these westernized kind of cultures and functioning without fully understanding or even holding on to our tradition. Yeah, what has traditionally been of significant value to us and what, yes.
And that's why I've been suggesting, it's something that we want to do on the show, with regards to studying our traditions now, revisiting rites of passage for boys. They turn 16. They become a man. What is the rite of passage for a boy? We had to go past slavery, because remember we started slavery.
Right. Yeah.
According to the new systems, right? we started slavery. We had nothing before that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right? And if you that way,
I know mathematics and knowledge and thing in Africa before that. I know astronomy and astrology. None of them thing.
So when you look at that same thing you're talking about with the stud nail, we know where that come from. That comes straight from slavery, bro. You understand? And the same thing goes for the women. When you have these super independent women who are forced to run their household.
Yeah,
because the man not there. When you take that man, you make a baby with you and you go and carry him on a next slave plantation to make a next set of big strong African like you.
Correct.
Right? I not good, I small. But you big and strong, right? So we'll send you. You going up St. Vincent. She ain't seen you ever in life again.
Yeah.
Your children not seen you ever in life again.
Yeah,
all them know is boy we father name was Sule, boy. That is it. We never picked him nothing.
Correct.
And that youth man now coming up with that in his mind, I'm gonna do the same thing. Because he have no example,
Correct.
You have nothing to look to.
Correct.
That's why I had a picture I posted yesterday that in order for boys to be men, they need to see men.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct.
And that's the problem. Boys not seeing men.
I'm not going to say in today's world.
They're not seeing men.
Now, I also want to point out, somebody could be chronologically of man age and not a man. I
That's
make
what
argument all the time.
plan say in today's
I
world.
make argument all the time.
That
Chronologically.
Yeah.
Chronologically,
You
make
have
it.
to be a man.
Yeah, but
not a man.
you're not a man. Yeah.
we
Talk about
gotta be very careful with that
These
because
black men who not good. I say, hey, plenty of them is not no men. That's not
Right.
don't
And
knock
that's
there.
the next problem we have in society with regards to men and mental health. Now, you will have a strong male, right? I would consider myself a strong male, right? And because of the way I was trained, my mother, my aunt raised me up a particular way. I am, in a lot of ways, fearless in a lot of things. So business, I just take crazy risks. Just like I was telling you earlier, I don't care about animals and things. Me, I walking up the people and play with them and things normal. I don't show them that fear. You know what I mean? But as you say, that is innate to me.
Right, correct.
Everybody not going to have that. They're not predisposed to that.
Correct.
So, for me, a lot of women don't see eye to eye with me because they see me as that misogynistic. Let me see words is used now.
The toxic masculinity.
Masculinity.
If you know how much that word is annoying me,
Right?
Oh gosh, I can't stand it.
It is not even that. It is simply that because I am steadfast in my beliefs, you see that as a threat. Because you can't, whine and nanny in front of me and I go fall. Or swing our breast and I go fall. You understand? Because I looking past that. I want to see what kind of woman you want to make. What kind of wife you going to be. So when they had the whole bacchanal there, they were started talking about the women, they're not aspiring to be mothers anymore, and they're not aspiring to be household. That was a big bacchanal.
Yeah, I remember that bacchanal.
I keep saying to people, and this is where we keep getting lost as a people, our people, right? We's the only people having this jackass discussion, Black people is the only people having this discussion. When you look at the East Indian community, they're not talking about that. Because Nani she had to stay home and fry sada, right? And wait till 2 o'clock for the children and them to come home and do homework with them. You understand?
But on top of that, there is not a put down.
Because
they understand the value.
She knows that is her position. That is her
not
role.
just her position, It is because when you say position, it can come across based on the language that we just talk and the tonality.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but we had to still focus on that. We had to still focus on that for we people who listen to it, because while at the time I doesn't give a flying France sometimes, I also understand that, especially for the younger ones and them, they die how they go hear it now. Like, understand that yes, that's she position. But she also understands the value
of the position.
Of that position.
Now remember, when we could if we go back to traditional African traditions and so on, we venerated the female. Because the female is the head, not the head, but the female runs the household. Things can't happen without her. Yeah. So the chief important, but you see the chief wife?
She's really the boss.
Where it's in Europe, say you see the marketplace, the most important space in the village is the market, right?
Yeah.
Who's running the market?
Yeah.
The most important space in any village in Europe is the market.
Yeah.
Once you who is run the market.
And until we get back to that, where we revere our women, we're not going to have that. We're not going to have it. Because we trying to be the dominant sex. Do this, do that, do this, do this, But in my house, brother, ain't no decision making without my wife. Right? If I had to paint that door, I could answer that when she gave, I think I want to paint that door, what color you feel you want to paint?
Is the messed up thing, mother?
I just sim for doing that.
You gotta ask your wife, like,
they
don't understand, like, no, it's a don't have to ask her.
We discussing it.
It's equal, and you think, and she might have an input, she might have an idea.
Yeah.
You understand?
She will see something that I'm not seeing.
No, but you see, we have been emasculated to the point where we feel we have to claim our masculinity by dominance over the female.
Yes.
And so it's no longer equal conversation. It is now I have to be masculine by dominating. If I don't dominate you, then I'm not masculine.
Yeah.
I'm not a man if I don't pull you down.
Yeah.
I don't pull you down for me to feel. And the opposite. Now women feel as though they have to pull down the man for them to feel
good. Yeah.
So that's what's happening. Yeah. So now you have this woman talking about you have some women, Lord, I know it's men, you have some women who I feel take revelry in having a waste man, a man who they can't get in contact to and thing or whatever, because they want to take pride in this victimhood of man and good, and look, I do this on my own, and I'm a superwoman, and I'm a superman. That's not something to be proud about. That's not something to be proud about. That's not how it should be. That's not the system.
You see that? That's something that needs to be explored some more from your level, because I had to tell a friend that Christmas gone. Be like, this is the second time in about 3 years you crying over a man. The exact same situation with 2 different men. And be like, I not vexed with them now. Is that to be used? You one man. Both of them was doing almost the same thing for a living.
Yeah, she have a type,
right? Like, nah, I know. I can't hear that. And it's something else that we were saying with Tasha last week. Realizing that this is just what I realized being a single man out there. That plenty of women do know how to, because they've been brought up, as well Michelle say here, we have adopted the American individualistic culture as opposed to the collective culture we practiced in the past. Right? Crystal say valid point, Michelle, we have adopted the wrong culture. Because we adopt them kind of things, and women trying to be, as you was now explaining, they're trying to do the same thing that the man was doing. Emasculate a man and things, especially when they're in a position of making more money and them kind of thing. It's a woman don't even know how to receive a gentleman.
But first of all, I want to liken this to taking one of them board, the floating bodies, learn to swim in and kick and thing over, and pulling it underwater. At some point, it only have so far you can pull it underwater until you have to release it. And when you release that, it's coming up with a pace strength and a force. That's women. That's black women in our space. Black women have been suppressed and pressured for so long. That now they come up with a force, and they come up with such a force that it's almost violent, right? And it's difficult now for any black man to even be able to. I went on a date sometimes time back, and I opened this door for this young lady, right? Do you think she didn't tell me how my mother make me? You tell me, boy, I don't know how she. She's a strong black woman. She can open your door. She don't need this. I open my door.
Wow.
You understand? Like, needless to say, that was the last date for me. But no, but I don't want to fight you. And so what she has gotten, and I don't blame her, it's her experience, is that she's had to fight for every inch of everything she had. And she don't know when to stop fighting. So now she's fighting me a lot. And I'm trying to show you how you should be treated.
But you can't see it.
And you can't.
You can't see it.
I invite you out. I'm not talking about coming and pay 50%. I paying for dinner. I could pay my way. I love.
Well,
I You're correct.
Right? Later, get paid for my food. I'm not a family for rich food because I can't pull out the chair for you neither. If I pull out the chair, we'll kick it up.
So again, and that's what I tell them. I say, some of them don't want to think, and I say that hardness that some of them trying to portray is a turn off to a man who might be genuine for you.
Yeah.
It's a real big turn off. Be like, hey, first things first, I tell. It have a softness, a feminine softness that most men like. Most of we mightn't be able to articulate that to say it like that. But it have a softness from women that we like.
But you see, that's a problem, huh? The problem is, when you are, as a black man, psychologically, when you are fighting to make it, you need a fight. And you probably want a fighter by your side to help you fight. That person helping you push and fight to make it.
That has nothing to do with the softness. I don't
wait, let me finish. When you have made it, you're ready to relax. And what has happened? She's still fighting. And so you have a lot of women who say, why was it him? I back him from when he was nothing to when he make it. And after he make it now, he gonna be white girl or girl and take. But here's the difference. After it's that same softness you're talking about. So after you've made it, the fight, after that fight finish, you ready to stop fighting. And she can't stop fighting because that's what
get lost somewhere.
That is what has been in her DNA and so on. And so as a man who's ready to stop fighting, you don't want to be fighting, you're fighting with her now. Because she just sits still in fight mode. And so what has happened? What happens oftentimes is now you find the successful black man end up with some other ethnic group who's soft, who giving you that soft thing, who willing to submit. When you tell a black woman about submit, they'll tell you, submit? I don't know, slave to nobody and thing.
That's what it is now. And that's what society do. Society
and they convince women, that submission is
Yeah, what Michelle say?
Correct.
She said, Andrea, I agree with you. I heard a woman once say, if he don't beat me, he don't love me. She went on to further say, when I get licks, it just turn me on.
That's trauma
Man,
tied to something we call Stockholm.
Stockholm syndrome, man.
That's trauma tied to Stockholm. So this person has been so traumatized, so abused that they have now conflicted and conflated sexual arousal with abuse. So that person in a whole kind of heap of mess.
But what does do to we mental health as men, having to deal with so many not soft women, but in more ways than one. You know, where it's always like a fight. Imagine, a simple thing as that could trigger a man, like, all I do is open a door for you.
It's I, and eventually I just say, boy, forget that. You know what I mean? I'm a beat a Betty. But the Betty don't know. As I was saying just now, the Betty don't know. Them know. The Syrian woman know how she roll. Right? Man, how they make any money? You inside somebody chair and go by the pool, carry them swimming, ting. When I come home, me and you go ting up.
I went out with a mixed young lady, right? And I getting ready, find her taking her along. Oh no, not a find her. I went to meet her, and my shoes untied. She bends down in the road and ties my, and I tell her, no, get up, don't. And she's like, no, honey, it's fine. I got this. And she bends down in the road and ties my shoe. I have never experienced that in my. I said,
my wife is my wife. They got my wife, boy. They got my wife, boy. Yeah, they got my wife.
But I never experienced that. I just bend over the road, sit down, take the road and tie my shoelaces.
Yeah.
I said,
my wife is catered to me like that.
Bring your food and I said, but that's not something.
What it is do to us as men when you're dealing with the opposite of that. The opposite of that is, or I trying to do something. Whereas I tell you that experience, my experience as a man is, you make the statement, I don't want to say complain, that you like romance and you find you don't get enough romance. The ignorant part I was like, but I leave for work the day, I remember I leave for work the day and I kind of hit my walking on the road like, every now and again you could do something else now.
Right.
I say, all right. I call out. I call she, you going to work? Yeah. All right, okay. And from there it start, I go to the barber, clean up. I'm going to, in the evening time now, I'm going to buy your favorite food. I'm going to buy candlestick holder and thing, candles, thing, for the table, by cloth. I went out. I went out. Thing. We routine was, you call and I'm going to leave and work now. I'm a maxi, I'm a taxi. So I'm not surprised now. So I know watching the door. Yeah, I watching, we used to use the side door. We used to use the front door. Come down and come inside. Yeah, I say surprise, but you jump out your skin, I remember I telling she I inside like and the person who was telling me that they're not getting romance, I say surprise, I go and I light the candles, I take out your wine. I don't drink dry wine, I buy dry wine, I don't drink that shit at all. I see one thing, right? And you just tell the girl, no, you could have given my heart attack. And alright, I understand. Calm down. You want to come and eat now, you want to take our I try, we had a conversation. Yes, last night you say, you find it, look, and I said, no, I scented candle burning. I tried to put on that music. Not. You know, since that I never do nothing like that again.
Trauma.
Yeah, a negative.
I show you everything, turn really idiot, All the
candles,
Huh?
Yeah, all the candles.
Yeah.
You
know,
But
But is way that's why I keep asking, what does do to men?
yeah, over time, yeah.
You know, because
Over time.
I mean, you're coming out, especially when you experience it now. I experienced that woman doing that side of that for me. I tell them, I know it's that. You can't come around me and
No half step.
not just half step, you know. You can half step, but you don't half step good. You understand? You can't half step halfway.
Nah, we want to half step.
No.
Bring it or don't bring it.
No,
Yeah, bring it. Yeah, bring it or
Yeah,
don't
who
bring
can't
it.
half step? Yeah, who can't half step? The people we know Saturdays.
Well, yeah.
The person who know you could half step.
You can trip and stumble.
So you reach over the line.
Yeah,
Right,
half step, man.
The now you come
Half
now
step
and,
nothing.
I mean I talking to especially the younger woman and them and flowers is I like flowers.
Yeah, but younger generation now do like.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
If it's in the face, if it's
We're talking about iPhone and technology. I say, bring it again. The tablet, flowers.
you know, so that way we will say no.
Girl shitting on BMW and thing, you know.
Boy.
Man, girl shitting on BM and thing, you know. That BM ain't good enough.
And that's what I ask. So like them videos what we see, right? What it do to that man's mental health when you buy a new vehicle, and the one I saw was not BMW, was a showroom vehicle. He bought for the woman. Showroom.
1 year back. If so long.
Right?
The
And
model before.
the woman is like, why going to do this?
Yeah.
I saying like this had to be a skit, yo. This could never be real, yo. Like it have people so ungrateful.
Why am I mashing up that car?
Why am I mashing up that car? You crazy?
I'm mashing up that
I
car.
jumping in the car, you know why? I never had that mental.
45 wash once the man dropping up.
You will never get me to mash up nothing I buy. Nothing. Even if it's something for you and it has resale value. Come on, that same car I know why. I jumping in that car. Or America is king I return.
Oh yeah.
I doing
But the salesman was there with him.
I doing the return right in front of your
The
face.
salesman was there with him.
We'll set up the well, they might give back the cash, you'll get a check. Or we'll set up the car, give back cash. Pay to see the pile. That's what I do. But after that, you would definitely have some kind of emotional baggage.
I have no problem. You don't want it? Okay. All right, bet.
You know what I'm saying? No, brother.
Bet. All right.
No.
Mom's not gonna watch your car.
Yeah.
It don't pay for.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, well, no worries. I'm checking it in this.
Call my sister. Hurry. But tell me, looking back.
Those are the things that continue to press and play on men's mental health. Because men are expected to be the provider, and even when you provide, oftentimes society and even the women tell you that you don't provide good enough.
Yeah.
And that plays with your mental. That will stress you out. That causes serious, significant stress. Right? We also don't have good networks or safe spaces for men.
Boy.
So we don't have safe spaces where a man can come and release.
Yeah.
And release your burdens and your stresses and your anxiety. If a woman go to
The salon.
the hairdresser,
Come on.
if a woman go to the hairdresser for doing her nails, everybody should have to know no woman inside of it. All of them, yes, that man stink, leave he.
Yeah.
Right? Emotional support.
Yes.
You get all the emotional support from everybody inside.
When this used to be on my head.
Yeah.
And I go in the salon every week to comb my hair. Bridget, there are some conversations I hear out of reaching them in care that I did. My hair taking 3 hours to do. Them in business and nobody is stopping them. And then at times I ask questions to hear. Now all I get to do is ask the question.
Yeah, but you can't talk after.
But as you say,
But as I say, space
we don't look at exactly. We don't look at this exactly.
Yeah, I say
So,
space to go to
I
share,
must say,
support.
So Agilit is one of that. You understand? And to me, it's even better because it's a one-on-one version now. Whereas, and a man come in here and it's a 3 hour video and a man come in there and a man come in there. A man want to say, boy, real pressure with this work or real pressure with this girl. Thing, I know what to do and they'll tell tear on here. And man, man ready.
Yeah.
But I see that in the salon with them getting them like, God, boy, the man ain't changing at all. I find out you have another woman and tear on. And the same thing is it.
Support. Full support.
But I've also heard, women like, you try to talk to your family. So they were actually
Correct.
Like,
it is a safe space that women get to share. Women have that.
Women have that. Come in here now and ball boy, my girl haunting me. And if I have 5 men in here, you're sure to get at least one laugh.
Of course. A man might laugh at you. Or and next one might say, boy, you need to some slap here.
Yeah,
Or something that's not constructive.
Yeah,
Or hold you back. Or something that's not constructive to your emotional, because it's not meeting your emotional pain. Right? Because one of the other things that men are is that men are solution oriented. So we just by design or how we are socialized and so on, we don't focus on the feeling and the hurt, the emotions. We focus on the solution. So she horny, all right, what's the next step? Well, she horny, but leaving her don't fix the hurt.
No.
That, you know what I mean? They are correct. That don't fix the hurt. So emotionally, we don't address the issues that we have emotionally. So we continue packing up trauma and emotional issues and emotional issues. So of course, men will be explored at some point, right? What we practice is something called shelving, where we take our issues and we put it on the shelf behind the back of your head. And a shelf can only hold so much weight.
Yeah.
So at some point, something will rest on our shelf and there'll be the slightest thing and it'll break. And when that shelf break, it's real shit sliding down and correct. Now you start to explode and you trip off on somebody. And, people only realize men's mental health when a man trip off. You say, but like something wrong with you. I mean, at this point, you ready to bust and break people's fingers and things, and you tell them, too late shall be the cry. So men's mental health only comes to the fore really when a man trips off. All the time a man is just supposed to shut up and take it.
I want to say this.
Put out the cockroach and the rat.
The men's mental health is not just to do with man and woman relationship and thing. I mean, I know people who frustrated by the job they're in. The job that they're in.
Well, we could continue, but our guest has to depart.
But it's always good.
Escape and save lives.
Yeah, they'll be in the office with two fellas.
So we're grateful for you staying up for coming through, brother, as usual.
But you want to invite me when I come. I don't tell them I was here when all started here. I went with Jael. I went with all this across the radio station.
Most caps.
Well, let's call me.
I'm telling you.
Let's call me. I run it in.
We're grateful.
Yeah, man, I run it in. Y'all doing good stuff here, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Yeah, blessings, fellas. Keep it good.
Yeah.
To your audience, everybody watching, there's good stuff going on here. Men's mental health is very, very important. Please support a man nearest to you today. Feel free to reach out to me on social media. That's Sule Joseph, Sule Joseph and Associates on Instagram or Facebook. If you want to send a WhatsApp message or a call, if you have concerns and issues, it's 260, sorry. 260-5658.
Alright.
260-5658. Send a WhatsApp
Joseph
message.
and Associates, so exceptional therapist and what do you call it?
What?
Family counselor.
Yeah, child and family therapist.
Child and family therapist, right?
Yeah, man.
So let's link him. We will not continue the conversation because we have a half an hour. Right? I'm going to mic them away.
You don't want to take everybody.
Blessings, man.
Yeah, I'm going to help. Yeah, okay, what's up, man? Hey, I can't big still at least. Yeah. So you see, this topic is a deep rooted, deep seated conversation that as a barber close to me. You know what I mean?
You hearing it, boy?
I hearing it on a regular, men crying in my chair, and I just give them the space. And then you see a lot of men that struggle. So the last time it happened, I had a customer here. One on the chair, laying out, whatever. And the one on the chair here, partner, that man kind of just, you see him kind of turn the back because you don't want to face it now. You understand? Because when you think about what our situation is there, the man going through it, you understand? And as Sule was now saying it just now, it's only when we break.
When people acknowledge
like, something wrong. But prior to that,
Mendoza.
Prior to that, what we doing, what we saying, who we talking to? You know, and that's why I had a gear pips for that starting that little WhatsApp group there because I look at this morning.
Yeah, I see that conversation.
You need to listen to them voices.
Yeah.
Big today. Me come in and give you some information today that, I mean, it rocked my world, but in our reality, it's like, what we gonna do, right? You know, but I'm saying that, you know, in all these spaces and places that we walk, it is really imperative for me to really just be there for our brother. You know what I mean? It's how real fellas going through it right now quietly. Then just take licks. They do show it. They do show it. You know, you might see our brother getting small. It's not because he's sick. You understand? And children stressing out their parents too. Children. It was the hardest part of parenting for me right now, my brother. Big man to big man. It was the hardest part of parenting for me. You see that individualism thing, partner? I ain't know if I able with it or not. I'm telling you, I ain't know if I able with it because I tried my best to shape it, you know, and guide it and steer it in a particular way, boy. And if I tell it go so, it going so. If I say, well, all right, you want to go so? Well, all right, we going so. You turn to go so now. And it's like, yo, where's this boy? I mean, I know you might think as the boss that I will not able and capable to raise these children. But for some kind of understanding in them too, no? You know, to make my life a little easier because, boy, I telling you, Jed, sometimes I be like, boy, what is this, boy? And my wife is the only person I can turn to. Because she going through it with me. You know what I mean? And she's seeing the frustration right now. She pleading with me, boy, to just calm, just ignore certain things. But because I was a perfectionist, because I grew up a particular way, structure-wise and thing, you know, you want to guide your children in that same direction and show them the benefits. But boy,
there are certain things I grew up with that I fight in.
Yeah.
When it comes to raising my child, I also fighting that I had to still accept that I made this choice.
Yeah.
So wherever it is,
come of it.
Exactly, is I had to deal with it because I make this choice.
Yeah.
Right? Michelle Sandy say, I believe everyone gets a different version of someone. It depends on what you do for that person and how you make them feel.
Agreed.
Yeah, right. Mendoza say he was listening but busy, so he couldn't contribute.
I know, seen.
The parenting part of it, for those of us as men who just take parenting seriously, that definitely is contribute to the mental health. I realize that is something that playing with me to the point where my daughter asked me something Sunday that stopped me dead in my tracks, boy. Oh God, that was my response now. And the child asked me, Daddy, you fed up on me? Like, just so, where that come from? I said, girl, but I said, well, why is it that? See, because sometimes there's one go by my mommy and I just don't want to go. And I'll be telling you I don't want to go, and I said to him, I say, because you have to interact with your mother. Right? Well, I can call she. But the phrase in the thing that she asks it like, why won't make you feel like tired of you? But it run a little deeper than that. When I started to talk to she comparing it to other situations. Right? So now I had to make it my business every day, until I feel that you understand. I'll never get tired of you, girl. I might need a little break. I gotta see about you. Use my responsibility. You understand? And what about the children who feel in that way? It's not that the parents fed up at them, but the parents probably can articulate to them. Did I get through to my own daughter to let she know if she's still feeling that way right now? That them for me is some of the things that has affect me because I catch myself real studying that, boy. Real studying that. Blessed day, Dragon God. I know who's that. But blessed day.
Yeah.
Right?
YouTube does have the handles.
Yeah. And we, again, plenty things we don't talk about.
Yeah. I think there's a lot, that is the answer to a lot of we problems as fellas. Even if it's just 4 or 3 or just sit down and find 2 people you could be open with, or even 1 that you could be open with, because I know trust is a big part of it. We doesn't want to open up for fear of belittlement, for fear of that you're a punk, or you might be going through something that you can't process now. And it is important that we not do that as brothers. Now. You know what I mean? Because for me, I think I reach a place in my life now, I'm 43 now, and looking back, having to be the one to break these generational curses, brother, isn't easy. You know, because I looking back and I studying by some of the things I doing for men. I did not know nobody to do it with me. You understand? Or I probably did and choose not to ask, you know. But when I look back at the generation and men before we and think, you, in all honesty, I don't feel I could have voted none of my men.
That is what I'm not going to ask you.
Yeah.
Could we have actually gone to them and say,
I'm going through this.
I'm
going through that.
You know,
and get good advice from them. Because yeah, there's no difference.
I just say, at that time I used to respond a little harshly to that. Now we understand that two things. They didn't know better, and the ego not allowing them even today, when you're telling them certain things, they're so stubborn with it, it's not allowing them to hear with that and adjust to suit. Because the ability to talk to an older man, that's why I miss my grandfather so much. Even though my grandfather was when I was 19, and it was certain life things I didn't experience yet. Up to that point in time, what he had afforded me was a person in which to just sit down and talk. Like, you know, my grandfather used to sit down and talk for hours sometimes. And I still miss that today. To the point where I remember coming home and meeting my partner, and like my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? The same. And boy, I come here looking for you since this time. I know you usually go and sweat. I try to catch you before you sweating. So he there since after 3. I came back from sweat after 7.
For 3 hours, he sit down talking to your grandfather.
I'm telling you, Jason Joseph. Everybody wrong that part about it at that time. They know me and he was ring on finger. You understand? Because we was living a few houses away from one another. Going same primary school. And I was so with his family as well. His grandmother, especially Auntie Maxie. At the time I go in there, she leave food for guests there. Yeah, you know.
But that tie back into that what Michelle said earlier too about the individualism, and I say that in my community watch group, not the neighborhood watch group. You know, everybody saying about that. The man who run in the chat talking about boy, we had to look out for one another and thing. I still look out for one another. I still looking out for one another. It's not just sending the camera footage after it happening. We don't see, we don't hear. When it happening, nobody around. Right? But you're there now. But as far as you're concerned, you're not there. Right? I can't talk to your child, you can't talk to my child. Right? You're seeing something happening. Instead of you pick up the phone and call and say, Karen boy, I noticed ABC. I experienced that in my street, right in my street here. I talked to my neighbor about your daughter and the daughter stopped talking to me. So that let me know that you went and tell she that I talked to you. Before you say, hey,
I hear so.
Even if she see me, see she. Right?
She didn't hear from you that
you
is
ain't
me.
hear from you is me to talk to. You know? But at the same time, maybe in the heat of the moment, you say it or whatever the case is. You feel you big enough as a child to stop talking to me? Well, no problem, brother. You could be burning in the street. I'm not seeing you. You understand? Because I know at that point in time, when I see you doing what you was doing, you had no right to be there. You're not old enough to be doing what you was doing. So I should be able to call your mother and talk to you and let you know what's going on. You know? Because it's a place of concern we coming from and not just control. Right? Which is what I'm fighting with this generation coming up here. They believe that we're trying to control them and we're not trying to control them. We're trying to show you, hey, that speed you're heading at day and that wall, you ain't seen the wall enough, but we seen the wall. We seen the wall, but you moving so fast that you're not seeing that wall. I seen the wall you're going to run into. Slow down a little bit. Bang! And then you're coming by seeing me now to tell me,
I bounce my head.
I bounce my head, daddy. I bum up on me.
Yeah.
What else doing?
So Michelle say trust is a big factor when choosing to talk to someone, yeah? Right? And then she said they couldn't give you what they didn't have, and that's where I know reach.
Yeah.
What I still find hard to accept though is that it are certain things you're getting exposed to today.
Yeah.
And you choosing not to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see them choosing to change too, it will not enlighten, but it will expose a lot of the things that they don't want to face. You understand? Because the situation I have with me and my father, in order for me to get past that, I had to confront certain things. Right? So even though I was the son, looking to he, trying to get this, trying to get that, fighting. And you doing what you doing, not acknowledging me. I realized that I can't do my son that. Or my sons. I cannot do them that. I see in my sons doing what they're doing, and I acknowledging them because I'm not going to let them know, hey, calm down with that. Man. I not going to let them know that. Even though it might be making me uncomfortable because I'm not accustomed to that. Right? Because remember, a big part of that is me not being able to, not seeing or receiving that from my father. Right? So that now that I get in it, I had to be able to reciprocate it, because if I don't reciprocate it, I'm going to do the same thing that was done to me.
That boy, one of the biggest things I was telling my mother, this boy, is the way that my child is want to be around me. I stand up this morning, I drop shoe off. Waiting for Auntie when you're going inside, I don't spray it down, you're going inside. I saw you come. I say, you're right here. Yeah, but I want to be right next to you. Like, just make me wonder sometimes now, because like you getting exactly, but you're getting older. That attachment will have to start to cut out now. And I know that now. Like, yo, I tell her, I was watching the night. One time, all right. Two time, all right. That third time, and you ain't feel the way you're supposed to feel it. She get up. I said, I want to share. She come back and sleep. If she get up and I ain't around. And what is catch me, that is human body and mind is work a kind of way. She open eye, almost split second open eye and see me there. She knock back out literally immediately. She open eye and then see me up. How? You know, but the ability to deal with somebody trying to give you all this love and affection right through, sometimes it'll be a little too much. You're like, yo, and I realized that one of the reasons I was so strict when she bedtime.
Yeah.
Bed.
Unplug.
Yeah, I need a few.
Unplug.
You know, I know is that, and the thing about it is,
and nothing wrong with knowing that.
I don't doubt that my parents love me, but I understand the value of what I didn't get that does make me act a certain way today, because it are certain things that I didn't get, right? And I probably was already looking for it from people as well. How much of us like that, men and women, but we talk about men here, how much of us like that don't know and just keep repeating them cycles. Now, it's a scary thing because as you start to know these things and understand these things a little more now, you start to look back at your actions. Oh, yeah, some of my actions, like, yo, directly tied to my traumas from childhood and early adulthood. Now it's to try and break that, and it is song nice, and it is song like, yeah, you're really in tune and thing, but I telling all you, I could say all the world, that is one of the hardest things that we encounter in life, to try and break some of the things that we perceive as negative in we character and change it, all the while having this young being watching you and mimicking what you're doing.
It's plenty.
Yeah.
And that's way on here,
It is. I realized that, and I tell you something, that thing. Say like, oh, so if this bothering me, so how much of the things bothering me, and as Sule say, I just put it on the
shelf.
On the back shelf, boy. Yeah.
But we gotta keep doing this. We gotta keep talking and and reasoning with one another. Because
that's why I'd see how important having a forum is
yeah,
for that now.
yeah. Because these men out here, brother, them fellas and them going through hell. And they're not talking about it in no way, form, or fashion. And plenty of them just do what you do. Just bolt. They picking up nothing, they just gone.
Telling you about
You know what I mean? And then it might have a child involved, it might have thing, and then that cycle restart again. Because now the child watching and saying, hey, what going on here, boy? Daddy where?
I'll tell you all these little things too, like that will play on we mental health as men. You and the mother, your child or children not together anymore. A conversation that you have to have after a while is why. You know?
Face it.
Yeah.
Because it's coming. coming. So, I mean, you know, the show was nice today. I know as usual whenever Sule comes.
Yeah, when Sule comes,
it has been heavy. But it's been real nice too because you know even though he's a therapist, he's square now. You know what I mean? He's a humble one and you could talk to him and reason with him and be real with him now. And I like that about him. So we get that honesty from him now. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter now of you know we taking advantage of services like that. To the fellas in the you know their own safe spaces and things what they feel they can create a space or they do it now. You know, because as we say just now, the barbershop is that for us. Or plenty people didn't have that or access to that. You know? So yeah.
Sometimes it be letting out. I don't know. I think one of the reasons if life show me that I cope with things good, I think one of the reasons will be that I really talk to myself, like literally. When I live in El Dorado for 10 years, at times I will walk down by Constantine Park Day and sit down on the bench and talk to myself. That is how I find I end up watching a real nice football league at our football league day Sunday evening and some days in the week. It's because I come down a nice evening time and I had trees over here, so you ain't get no sun and a real breeze. And sometimes I did for 2-3 hours, just bribes with myself, saying I walk over the road about a Malta, come on. Bam myself, and I catch myself, there's actual team and referee and thing. Football league. Inquire about it, yeah, some Sunday, sometime in the evening. What? So I coming home from work now to go and sit down ready to watch foot. Yeah. You know, the value of talking to yourself is one, but talking to your friend and them who could overstand and listen and at times give you advice, we don't put enough value on that, boy.
We don't.
And that is good appreciation, same way. So for those of us who have it, or those of us who are the friends that we could call on, yeah, start to show more appreciation. And I die for me myself too. Because it'd be hard to tell a man, boy, thanks, boy, that I really appreciate it. Because like Akil, I know that what Akil do that day. That was real big. I know that because what he was doing that had us a take away from that shit was real big. You know, like what is I say? Just that thanks and that's what I try to practice now, like saluting those around you with a thanks or appreciation, something, but it had to be said because the word is the power. If we talking that for all kind of other thing, we could talk that.
Same way.
Yeah, with this here too, boy. But I would say, from my standpoint, it ain't easy.
Hearing it not easy, neither.
You understand that?
Hearing it not easy.
But it's something I working on for myself because one of the things I realize we hear real problems. How come we doesn't hear the solution to them problems? And I ain't talking about a verbal solution. I'm not talking about a man tell you, boy, I was in a real jam. I could talk to Miguel. I was in a jam. And it just so happened Miguel was wrong. when it happened, and my brother stay with me until everything sort out. That big. You understand? You about like small thing, boy. Like, no, that ain't not small thing, boy. Because you have your own life to deal with, you know. You understand? And us as men had to show the appreciation to other men. You know, tell we brothers thanks and thing because that's part of what has helped we cope with the things that is be hitting we constantly mentally and emotionally. Sometimes we even because we're so focused on one not going right. Sometimes we just take for granted what people around we doing. And somehow we fortunate that we have people around we actually doing things that helping we now. Yeah, it's time to acknowledge that. Michelle say, glad I caught you guys today. On behalf of women, we appreciate you. Much thanks.
Success.
Who is that?
Michelle.
Who Michelle?
Joseph.
Capture that.
Michelle Shorty.
Capture that person.
You know Michelle. At least I think it's Michelle. I hope it's Michelle from Sule. I could be wrong.
But we appreciate you too. And as a man, could it be real nice to hear a woman tell you them thing, boy? You know, as we talked last week on the men and sensuality and thing, all that to me, all that is good, the sensuality, boy. You know, a woman just watch you just one, hear a hug and tell you, you know, thank you. Oh, God. Yeah. So, folks, is nearly 2. Yeah. So let us always bring that kind of
energy.
You know,
and that's why we'll keep bringing them back because I mean, it's about other people we could bring.
And the brother willing. For me, that is one of the most important things.
You know how long I messaged today? Since last month, you know?
I always liking that. I would liken that to, as I always tell Jerez too. Whenever we thinking about doing class reunions, I will always think of by your mother. Because the first successful one we do was by your mother. When we try to rent place something and that fall through. And say, ask your mother, and your mother didn't hesitate. Yeah, come. And we went there. Karen, I tell you, vibes. It's how people tears run out of eye because they see people they ain't seen 20 years. Vibes. And we went there about 3 times. Every time we go there, we was there in the curfew.
Yeah.
So till next morning, you know? So yeah. That is the same thing like that now is a go-to. Right? So Christopher McConnell,
yeah, man. That's a real success in the building,
man. Goodness. I'm primary school and success with you.
Yeah. All you football fans, boy, take for France, boy.
Yeah,
they draw 1-1 with Poland.
So what I mean, they go no?
That mean they're on 4 points. Netherlands lost to Austria, so that mean that group is back on. I don't check the group and see what's going on there, but that tragedy spoken that way.
Mommy say at CC, pastors introduced what is called Kings Connect, where men can connect with each other. We need them thing where I mean,
as small as it might
from wherever angle I know it is needed, whether I take it from a church angle, a traditional angle, but we need them things so that I mean. And what better place than to do that in church? You come in here sometimes twice a week, and you're seeing these people and them, and you know.
Eventually, you start to develop a relationship.
Yeah.
So well, it's 2 o'clock. Well, 2:01.
More life and good health. The road a little wetty these days, all you know what is going. Take it easy on the road. Love is an action word. Support is an action word. I'm preparing for emancipation. Or they come and check me out in the Pan-African Festival in the Savannah, what we just call the Emancipation Village. Some new things coming forward. Right?
See them in the back there?
Yeah. The grace and we. So, be safe out there. Live in love, talk to your neighbor. You know, I tell people, I mean too friendly. If I try to heal out one time and thing up, but that's it. Yeah, but then we started to do that, you know, heal out with neighbors and things because that's how we don't go back. Breads, when men case in a neighborhood and them ain't see nobody talking to nobody, them glad. But when them see you over your wall talking to that one and 3 people over there talking to you and them none, like, nah boy, good guy, we get catching, yeah. You know, so them is some of the ways we could do them thing, man, bring back we communities. More life and good health all yeah. We out, right? Till the next time, we black.